Okay, my name is Lexi Boucher, and this is Jenna Waterman, and we are doing our presentation on abortion. Abortion is considered the termination of a pregnancy after accompanied by, resulting in, or closely followed by the death of an embryo or fetus. And abortion became a big topic after the Roe v. Wade case in 1973, which challenged the Texas law that prohibited abortions except to save a woman's life. And women had very restricted access to abortions, so they would often resort to illegal abortions that were often done in like unsanitary facilities, and maybe even by people who weren't technically allowed to do abortions or poorly trained. So the Supreme Court ruled that the right to privacy found in the United States Constitution include the right for women to decide whether or not they wanted to have children. So Jenna and I have similar but varying opinions on abortion, and Jenna's opinion is killing a human being, a fetus, is wrong and an individual should not have that control in any circumstance. Where my opinion is that killing a human being is wrong and an individual should not have that control. But I also think that in the situation of like rape or incest, that there could be such psychological trauma that it would be considered okay.
Okay, so we're going to look at a few different ethical theories and apply that to abortion to kind of gauge whether we think it's right or wrong. So the first one we're going to look at is Kantian theory, and the whole idea behind this one is it's all about the categorical imperative, which is the universal law. Can you will that what you do be universalized so that everyone does it? So we're going to ask the question, can you will that every other woman would have an abortion when she is pregnant? So if we would say yes to this question, then in one generation the human race would pretty much be extinct. So we kind of concluded that this was irrational and therefore immoral, and also that we can't use human life as a means to an end. The next one we're going to look at is utilitarianism, and this one is about the most happiness for the greatest amount of people, and this one's not necessarily concerned with the morality of the act necessarily, just more of the greatest happiness for the greatest amount of people, like I said. So we kind of came up with the idea that for those who can't afford to raise their future children, abortions would reduce the financial drain on society at large by not having to support these children through government programs like welfare. Also, abortion on demand creates fewer unloved children as well as creates fewer unhappy parents. So pretty much if you want an abortion and you have an abortion, then that'll create more happiness because then the parents won't suffer from unhappiness with having this child, and also the child won't be raised in an unloved home. So through these theories we kind of figured that Kantian theory was against abortion and utilitarianism mostly was pro-abortion.
So when looking at abortion, obviously since it is controversial, that means that there are both pros and cons. But when we were looking at the pros, we realized that pregnant women have the right to their own body, which means that they get to decide whether or not they want to have a child and when they want to. Also, pro could be that having an abortion could save the mother's life. So if the baby is causing her like severe health problems, and the only way for her to survive would be through abortion, then that could be okay. And also, like mentioned before, in cases of rape or incest, there could be psychological trauma from that the woman just could not live with, so that could result in abortion.
So some of the cons of abortion, these are just some popular beliefs of people that are against it. Killing people is wrong, and in this case, we're considering people as a fetus. Also, we could look at the potential success of the child, so maybe a child that's aborted could grow up and become something really successful and really beneficial to the world. Religious issues, obviously there's a lot of churches and religions against abortion. Also, we found a little statistic that fetuses can feel pain at 18 weeks. So in some cases, if you have kind of a later abortion, 18 weeks or a little bit older than that, then fetuses might be able to feel pain, and also there's pain for the mother as well in some cases.
When looking at abortion, we found this case, and it's a doctor that was found guilty of first-degree murder in Philadelphia. And this is Kermit Gosnell, and he's 72, and he practiced abortions by cutting the spinal cords of babies with scissors. He was also accused of the death of a woman who was 41 who died of anesthetic overdose when she was having a second trimester abortion. And he was not a board-certified obstetrician or gynecologist. and he was found guilty of 21 counts of abortion of the unborn 24 weeks or older. And in Pennsylvania, abortions past 24 weeks or older are considered illegal unless the health of the mother is at risk. And during these abortions, he was using unsanitary instruments and performed the procedures in rooms where there were animals, litter boxes, just really unsanitary conditions. And he allowed unlicensed employees, including teenage high schoolers, to perform some of the procedures. And the remains of the aborted fetuses were stored in jugs, water jugs, pet food containers, and freezers. And he was found guilty on 3 counts of first-degree murder. And we just have a little video to sum this up. We might have to watch this radio. Sorry.
Going to the gym is easy, and you can work out any part of your body. But they don't really have a machine for your brain. Lumosity is all these great exercises, all based on neuroscience, but they just feel like games. It's a fun workout, and my brain feels great.
Any brain can get better, and Lumosity.com can help. It's like a personal trainer for your brain, improving your performance with the science of neuroplasticity, but in a way that just feels like games. Start training with Lumosity.com right now and discover what your brain can do.
The verdict is in. Dr. Kermit Gosnell is guilty of 3 counts of first-degree murder for the deaths of babies born alive in his abortion clinic in Philadelphia. Also, he was found guilty of involuntary manslaughter for the death of a woman who came to him for an abortion, 21 counts of aborting the unborn 24 weeks or older, that's the cutoff in Pennsylvania, and 211 counts of violation of informed consent. Now, whenever we discuss this case, we have to warn viewers that the details are gruesome. Gosnell ran a ghoulish abortion clinic for decades in Philadelphia until the feds raided it in 2010 on suspicion of prescription drug dealing. What they found inside, of course, was far, far worse. Bloody blankets, dirty surgical tools, bags holding aborted fetuses. Prosecutors gathered evidence that showed Gosnell snipped the spinal cords of infants during abortions he was performing. Joining me now from Philadelphia, CNN.
Okay, so here's some more facts about Kermit Gosnell. So we can see that if you look up here, that his estimated salary per year was about $1.8 million by running this business that he had. 40% of the abortions that he performed were 24